Hey, good morning. Welcome to an amazing Friday morning. And I'm definitely excited to be chatting about relationships and the gift of relationships and the gift of healing that can really occur at a deep level when we see the reflection, definitely, that comes from relationships. And from that, I mean, so many people are triggered, and myself included. I can definitely say that many times. Hey Ben, great to have you on. Or hey Mark. Um, it really is one of those things. Hey Erica, great to have you on too, sweetheart. Um, Relationships are one of those tricky subjects that so often we get triggered in by life as well. It can be so difficult. Having personal and intimate relationships as well. It can really make life feel quite challenging, or we might feel so upset or so deeply or personally hurt by the way that other people interact with us. And this truly does offer us just such a great, hey Roz, great to have you on, darling, really does offer us just such a great opportunity to actually look at what are the deeper wounds, what are the deeper fears within ourselves, or what are the deeper beliefs that are actually there that keep recreating these particular situations. And you may find that even though you might be having different relationships with different people, there's a general theme that comes through, or there's something that bugs you the most when you're interacting with people. And the best part about this is that we always take ourselves with us. So whatever we're experiencing, and particularly if we feel like, oh my gosh, everybody's rude, or everybody's impatient, or everybody runs late on me, or everybody, like whatever kind of story is coming up around that as well, that will be one of the greatest opportunities to actually look at and see, where is there a reflection in me? Is it that I believe that other people let me down, or am I actually in fact letting myself down? And Byron Katie's work, I know that I've spoken about this before, but honestly it is one of the most profound tools that I've ever come across in my life to really enable ourselves to look at those deeper aspects and to find, where are we actually really like where is the reflection in us? What belief are we actually holding from a particular experience? Hey Denise, great to have you on, sweetheart. So definitely taking some time to do these, it can be really confronting work. And just even in the last couple of days, I've got some beautiful messages from clients that I work with at a deep level as well around this, to help them find where is that reflection in themselves. And the profoundness and the depth of it always blows people away, as it has done, like for myself as well over the years, simply because it sets you so free. It really sets you so free, because those things that you're triggered by in other people, or the things that bug you the most in other people, when we clear that up within us. Hey Dinah, great to have you on, darling. Hey Megan, great to have you on too, sweetheart. So when we clear up those reflections within ourselves, it really transforms and has the ability where we can be at peace, we can stay centered within ourselves. We have that level of emotional mastery where we're not pulled off track by other people. This is really important, particularly if you've been a people pleaser in the past. Thank you so much for the good morning, Denise. Hey, Megan. And it really can help to... and there was a study that was done years ago where 75% of our happiness actually depends on the quality of our relationships. Now, our relationships can be improved without even speaking to the other person. Now, I know that sounds crazy to say that. The way that we actually improve our relationships is improve the relationship, the one that we actually have with ourselves. Everything in my experience, and in so many of my clients' experiences, has just been a deeper reflection of the relationship that we have with ourselves. Whatever bugs us about us, whatever rules that we've created for ourselves, I need to be this way, or I need to be that way, or I need to be more of this or less of that, or I need to be more than enough in this area, or I need to be perfect, or I need to be all loving, all kind, all whatever's coming up for you. it's a deeper reflection. You'll be projecting, everybody projects their own rules onto other people, and it's like they shouldn't be rude, or they shouldn't waste my time, or they should be on time, or they should be this particular way. Is just a projection of your own rules that you actually have for yourself. Now, I truly believe that in order to love ourselves fully, it really is about loving the whole of ourselves. That's the good bits and the bad bits that we don't like. It's our weaknesses, it's our irritations with ourselves. I know for a long time I was really bugged by laziness or low standards, which was just a deeper reflection of like the perfectionist attitude that I actually had towards myself. And I would actually cut myself off from my own love, or from being worthy enough of having love or receiving love if I felt like I wasn't performing at those particular standards as well. So the more that we clear this up and clean this up in ourselves, you'll attract more and more like-minded people that reflect then those deeper, that deeper self-love for yourself as well. And this is where intimate relationship in particular provides one of the greatest opportunities for us really to work deeply on ourselves, because whatever you're deeply triggered by, and this is true even in families, and quite often people will say, I've heard it definitely said in the self-development world, that if you can be at peace and you can stay yourself and stay centered when you're around family, you've definitely done some major work on yourself, because the people that we're closest to are the ones that we generally are wanting to receive that love or that approval from at that deeper level. So we tend to be more triggered by people that are closest to us, because there's greater fear associated with losing their love or losing their validation. Now, the stronger that you are within yourself and your own self-love, and if somebody's going, well, you're this or you're that, or it feels like they're hurting you, or any of those things, when you can take that inside and actually see how you're actually doing that to yourself, or perhaps where you've done that to others in the past, or perhaps it was a past behavior, it really does. Thank you so much, Ross. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more that it really does change things. It changes your world so completely by working on those intimate relationships, but also the intimate relationship that we actually have with ourselves. And it's why I'm such an advocate of self-love, because like I said before, it's easy to love ourselves when we feel like we're doing all the right things, when we feel like we're being loving, when we feel like we're being kind, when we feel like we're taking action and we're following through and all those things. It's much harder to love the lazy part of ourselves, the spiteful part of ourselves, the part of ourselves that wants to lash out, the angry part in particular. I think a lot of us probably had that made very wrong as children, and it keeps us stuck for so long, because when we reject or when we cut ourselves off from loving that part of ourselves, we're not loving the shadow part. And when we reject or cut off that part of ourselves, that's when we get triggered by that particular behavior in others as well. Now, it might feel strange to go, well, I can't love that part of myself, because if I was to accept that part of myself, then I'm scared I'm actually going to do that particular behavior. And I know it feels counterintuitive, but honestly, it's actually the opposite. When you love and accept that part of yourself, you're loving all of who you are unconditionally, which actually sets everybody else free. So, and not only that, you can come from a pure place of choice going, wow, this is the whole of who I am, the shadow side and the light side, and I'm accepting and I feel calm about all those different aspects of myself, and now I can consciously choose which are the best parts of me that I'd like to actually demonstrate today. And we come from that place of wholeness and completeness within ourselves, as opposed to needing to be a particular way or being terrified that somebody's going to see the worst in us and then judge us for it or anything else. Again, that is just a projection of our own deepest fears of being exposed or not loving that deeper part of ourselves as well. Hey Kay, great to have you on, hun. And hey Mel, great to have you on too, sweetheart. So the deeper work that you do, and this can be everyday kind of stuff. Like if you're at the checkout and somebody is triggering you, or maybe they're rude, or maybe they're rushed, or they're frantic, have a look inside. Where do I show up when I'm frantic, or how do I feel about myself? I know for me, for a long time, because I was in victim mode for a long time, and felt like I was a victim of the world and everything was being done to me, and I took everything so personally, and I felt so overly sensitive, that I was actually really triggered then, after I'd kind of made that decision not to play in victim, or not to live in this victim identity anymore. I was really triggered by other people that were still caught in their own victim identity, which means I'd actually cut that part of myself. I wasn't accepting myself. Now, this is a part of obviously personal growth, because without that initial awareness, and without the first step of going, well, that behavior is no longer serving me, it's an automatic kind of thing that we do, where it's like, well, I don't want to do that anymore. So then we make it bad and wrong. But it also kind of bugs us then, or it triggers us when we see that behavior in other people. So again, it could be just, it's not necessarily that you're doing that behavior, or that you'd be like, no, I don't do that. But if you're feeling like you've got to justify, or you've got to defend, or you've got to criticize or blame either yourself or others, that will just be your ego coming in, and your survival mind coming in. Now, the ego, when people think of ego, a lot of the time we think of overinflated ego, like somebody's egotistical. Hey Naomi, great to have you on, sweetie. We tend to think of the ego as being overinflated. The ego is also underinflated. So when we're comparing ourselves to others, or when we're triggered by others, quite often, we'll either feel less than or more than. And it's always a place of judgment, whether it's judging ourselves or judging others. So it's like, oh yeah, no, well, I'm doing better than them, or blah, 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 which is of course overinflated ego. Or, oh my God, like I'm never going to be that good, or I can't do that, or I'm not enough, or just comparing our own journey. And it's like a tiny like tree sapling comparing itself to a fully grown tree, or even a medium-sized tree, and going, well, I'm just not enough now. And that's tricky. Hey Lisa, great to have you on, sweetie. So wherever we're at, it's all perfect and it's all okay, and we're continuing to grow and evolve naturally. It's when we make it wrong or make it bad, and it's just the same as a flower judging itself because it hasn't quite bloomed yet. All of those things, if a flower did that, it paralyzes the flower, or it would paralyze the flower. But it's only that self-consciousness, or that ego, which becomes conscious of itself, which then judges itself for being a particular way. And our heart, our soul, the largest part of you, the grandest part of you, the wisest, the calmest, the most loving part of you, always knows that you are whole, you are complete, you are lovable, you are not broken, you're not a victim, you're not any of those things, and life will continue to offer us. Hey Deb, great to have you on, babe, and hey Trish, great to have you on too, sweetheart. Thank you so much for tuning in. Life will always offer us these amazing opportunities, which might feel like threats, or they might feel like challenges, or they might feel like somebody's doing something to us, but life is always happening for us. It's to learn that deeper lesson, it's to develop strength, or it's to develop resilience, or it's to learn how to love ourselves. One of my trickiest relationships that I've ever had, and it was my by far like the longest relationship that I've had previously, it was so challenging, and it taught me at such a deep level where I'd cut off from myself. I'd rejected myself on so many levels, simply because I was so desperate for the approval and for the validation from this other person, and I would be so hurt, so much so all the time. But also in other relationships where I've been so triggered, or believing that somebody's doing something to me, or they need to change, or it's just no longer acceptable. It's when I've created that standard within myself, and I've cut off loving myself, or that aspect of myself as well. Hey Trina, hey Di, great to have you guys on. So it really is very, very deep and profound work, and in my experience, it is the best work that we can literally do, whether you're in the personal development field, or whether you're just wanting to feel better within yourself. that self-love and that self-reflection on where are we triggered still in life is giving us just the greatest opportunity, the greatest gift to look at those aspects of ourselves that we have rejected or we've cut off or made wrong. Now, being able to move through that and being able to really embrace that at the next level, you know, how do we actually start to do that? Is really looking at those deeper beliefs, and you do that, or you can do that in a number of ways. So it might just be free journaling. So it might just be, this is what scares me, or this is what irritates me, or this is what, and I like to ask 3 questions because they tend to be the main. I know that we experience many different emotions that can be articulated in many different ways, but a lot of the 3 main ones is, what am I sad about, what am I scared about, and what am I angry about? And that will help you to I guess get a greater idea of what's actually really going on for you. And I totally agree, honey. It absolutely is. It's been the catalyst that's changed every area of my life, in what's acceptable, or not what's acceptable, but what I actually allow myself to accept and receive in my life, and being able to make those greatest choices for ourselves as well. And the more that we actually really allow ourselves to receive, and particularly as women, I think we can be so challenged, feeling like we need to be more independent, or we need to be a particular way, or we need to do this or do that. The more that we actually allow ourselves to receive, again, it's filling up that bucket, which then can just overflow, and we can give so joyously and so generously from that place, as opposed to believing, I have to give from this place, or I have to do this particular thing, or I'm obligated, or I must, or I should. Again, they're rules that are really, really tough and really, really tricky. So like I said, you can journal on these particular things, just by like, what really bugged me about that situation, or what irritated me the most about that person. And I've jokingly said to my girls, like, if ever something happens to me, definitely, sorry, I was just distracted by a message. So one of the things is really obviously getting clear on the journaling, but then also being able to free ourselves from that moving forward will be some of the greatest work that you can do. So you can do that by checking out Byron Katie's website. She has 2 amazing downloads that you can do, which is Judge Your Neighbor and One Belief at a Time. And when you get clear on what is the belief, or what is the should, or what is the must, or what is the obligation that I'm actually placing on myself around this, then you actually start to free yourself from that, and then you can come from a place of choice. Anytime we feel obligated, or that we should, or we must, we're giving our power away to something or someone outside of ourselves, and that doesn't feel good. That always feels tainted, or like this feeling of powerlessness, or that we're coming from this effort and struggle and ego mind, that I need to be more in order to be loved as well. So journaling, definitely ask yourself those 3 questions. Once you start to get clear, what are some of the beliefs that are coming through around how I need to be, or who I need to be? Hey, Kimberly. Then you can actually do some release work, and you can also do, so how do you feel when you believe that thought? Who do you become when you believe that thought? How do you feel, and who are you without that thought? And what you'll find is that you're so much freer, or you feel lighter, or you feel more joyous, or there'll be other things that really come through there as well, where it's just like, oh wow, I just get to be me. I don't have to have all this pressure. And then again, like I said, you can embrace the shadow side, you can embrace the light side of you, and come from a conscious place of choice in, this is who I choose to demonstrate today, from a place of true self-love, as opposed to, oh my God, if I'm too much of this or too much of that, other people are going to reject me, or other people won't love me. Staying self-centered, and we're taught, being self-centered is actually selfish and it's bad and it's wrong. No, being self-centered, we are all self-centered. Everything we do, even the things that we do for others, comes from a true place of wanting to feel good within ourselves. Now, that is natural and that is healthy. It's not a bad thing. The better we feel, the more able that we are to be able to not take things personally, to be actually truly more present with what's going on with somebody else, because we're not sitting there going, oh, well, why are they saying this, and why are oh, maybe they think that I'm not doing enough, or that I'm bad. And as parents, and as intimate in an intimate relationship, or the people that we're closest to, or even with family, we can get so so enmeshed in other people's needs and other people's desires, and then take it very personally. This will free you from all of that stuff. If you're not clear on how things are running for you, or what are the actual programs, perhaps subconsciously, that are coming up for you that keep you in these continued patterns. Perhaps you've had relationships and you keep on breaking up with people, particularly in intimate relationship, or moving away from particular personality types, but you keep attracting that in your life. I promise you it will be something internally. You always take you with you, and it's been my greatest experience as well. Hey Nat, great to have you on, babe. So definitely very important there. If you're really unsure of how to actually go about this process, I have an incredible workshop. It's an intensive workshop. It will be confronting, but it will be so healing and so transformational. And I'm running that on the 8th and 9th of September. It's an amazing workshop. It'll be held in Wagga. And you also have online access to this program for life. But what you'll actually gain by coming to the workshop is you get 2 days of fully picking my brain in really cementing at a deep level how to implement this personally for you. All the videos are obviously in the online program that you can access at any point as well, and there's a whole bunch of freebies, a whole bunch of bonuses that go with that. But the best part about actually coming to the live program means that you'll be able to do that deeper work on yourself and ask me questions at the same time. You'll be doing it with other people in a like-minded process as well, that are all on their own journey. Like I said, it is an intensive. It's not something that will be just like dabbling in or just kind of looking at a surface level. But if you are truly looking to get the transformational tools to change your life literally forever, and that's a guarantee, and I know that's a big guarantee, but these are the tools that have absolutely changed my life at such a high level, and it's a process that I take myself through on a regular basis as well, because quite often we have unresourceful roadmaps, is what I kind of call that, where we've got unresourceful values, we've got unresourceful beliefs, or we're not actually living in integrity with our values, and we're trying to get our needs met in unresourceful ways. So we're still doing behaviors, whether that's emotional eating or whether that's lashing out in anger, or any of those unresourceful ways that we act, and we've like, why did I do that? Being able to understand what are the drivers for you around that will be life-changing for you. And the best part is you get to share this with your family as well. So it's lifetime access for your household, and their tools. Hey Buffy, hey Anne. They're tools that you can actually take and then teach, obviously, to your family and to your kids. And honestly, for me, there is no greater gift than passing this information on to our kids. I was 32 when I started learning a lot of this stuff. That really gave me not only the ability to learn how to love myself. I was 32 before I actually knew how to deeply love myself, and that came about through my marriage breaking down and my mum passing away. And it was like, holy shit, like I literally have no idea on how to actually love myself. So being able to learn those tools, I know one of my gorgeous aunties, she started on this journey when she was 59, and I just think what a great gift, how different my life potentially could have been to have had those tools at 13, 14 and 15, where we can really start to emotionally take those changes in at a very deep level and start to really make the best decisions for us as well. Certainly don't regret anything. Everything's happened perfectly, as perfect as it needed to be in order to help me be the person that I am today, and I wouldn't change a thing. Because it's all just taught me, and it's helped me become the person who I am today. Without those harder experiences, without that adversity, I wouldn't have had the inclination, I wouldn't have had the wanting or the desire to figure out what these particular things are. And I'm so passionate about sharing this with other people simply because I know how life-changing it's been for me, being able to take myself from earning $300 a week, having no self-worth, feeling terrified in relationships, to really having just the most incredible people in my life, to having the most incredible heartfelt conversations where you can be vulnerable to your absolute max and be so honest at the depths of your own being, by coming from that place of truly loving yourself, because you can stay so centered in yourself, to creating 6-figure income, really just creating so many changes in my life, living just an extraordinary way. And I certainly don't say that from a place of ego, but everything is so possible for you on so many levels. And I know it because I know what I believed back then, that, you know, it wasn't possible for me, and I've now lived it and breathed it for so many years now, where every single time I up level, every single time I move through that next layer of fear, or that next vulnerability, or that next belief that had been holding me back, my life continues to transform at such a high level. And it's 100% possible for you guys as well on every level. And I know many of you are already well and truly on that personal development level, and if you're wanting to take things to the next level, this is a process. The workshop intensive will definitely be a process that will truly set you free as well. So if you'd like more details on that, if that's resonating for you, please either PM me and I can pop you, send you some details about that, or we can have a quick chat and see whether it's a really good fit for you. It needs to be a really good fit, because otherwise, you know, it's wasting your time, your energy, and I'm very aligned to have the right people in the room as well, because it is one of those processes where it really does need to resonate at that heart and soul level, where you feel really called to do that as well. So more than happy to chat further with you guys about that. But for now, have an amazing rest of your Friday. I'm off to go run in the rain. I've got some big goals that I've set for myself by doing a 50K ultra run at the end of the year. So I'm pumped about doing that. And I love setting those new challenges for myself as well. And I'm excited to hear, I guess, what that next level of self-love looks like for you guys as well. So please hit the loves. Thank you for the loves. If this has really resonated for you, please feel free to share the video if this has really resonated for you and been a powerful message for you, or you believe that it can help other people. And lots of love to you all, and reach out, like if there's anything around what I've said that you're unsure about, or you'd like to know how to implement that personally for yourself, more than happy. Thank you so much for so much love. And you too, Buffy. Have a fabulous weekend, babe, and Erica. And enjoy your day as well, for those of you that are in America or the States or anywhere else in the world. Drop me a line if you're not sure what that next step is for you, and we can have a chat and go from there as well. But yeah, sending you an amazing love, and hey Dee, hey Margarita, great to have you guys on. And like I said, have an amazing day. And if you've just jumped on, make sure you go back, watch the start of this, and I look forward to hearing what's actually transformed for you. What's your next level of radical self-love that you're going to be doing for yourself as well. Bye for now, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.